The evolution of merch has been fascinating to watch in the beauty segment because for years, merch used to be something you would get for free. It was like a little freebie you got with your purchase, or maybe you would be at an event somewhere or something, you would give them your email and in exchange you would get a t-shirt, a little hat or something that then has the brand logo on it. And as we know, merch has been around for a long time, but the way it looks today in 2024 is night and day from that original picture that I just described. In the beauty realm in particular, these brands are selling everything. Like we're talking phone cases, dog toys, lighters, purses, everything. And we're even talking collaborations with other brands, collaborations between Milk Makeup and Reebok, between Benefit and Crocs. And this merch that you used to get essentially for free, we're now paying like upwards of $50, $60, $70 to have a piece of these brands. How did that happen? And what is it saying about the current state of the beauty industry? I'm so fascinated to talk about it today in Makeup Musings. So the foundation that I'm using and not paying any attention applying, so I'm like, I should be checking. I'm like, am I missing spots? Am I blending this out? But I'm starting with the Fenty, their new hydrating foundation. This is the Soft Lit. I have been wearing this almost every single day lately. I've really been enjoying this. I probably won't be talking too much about the product, so as always, everything I'm using, shades included, will all be listed in the description box. But the spark of this video idea came from an article posted from Business of Fashion. You know, I love Business of Fashion. I feel like I reference them constantly, but they recently posted an article about merch for beauty brands, and it further elaborated on some topics that I have both been thinking and I have spoken a little bit about in previous videos. And in one of my last purchase or past videos, I mentioned the idea of selling a lifestyle or selling a fantasy when it comes to cosmetics. When I think of like almost the blueprint here, you know, if we're gonna do a nice case study, it has to be Glossier. Glossier is a brand that does this so successfully. When you think of Glossier, and especially like in the heyday of Glossier a little ways back, like I know that you have this vision of the Glossier wearer. Like they very well identified their target consumer and leaned into it. And I specifically envisioned this through the little pink bubble wrap pouches, if you remember those. So previously, when you would buy something from Glossier, it would be shipped in this little pink bubble wrap pouch. And this was quite literally a shipping material. This was intended to keep the products in one piece for them to arrive to you. But because it had that little zipper pouch, you could then reuse it afterwards. And that was what people did. You would see these pouches not only used to physically hold their Glossier products and or other makeup products, but like you would see people wearing these as an accessory on the street. Like in lieu of a purse, they were carrying around this bubble wrap. They also had little stickers inside your order, so then people would be slapping their Glossier stickers on things, and it presented this image to anyone around you that, you know, I'm a Glossier girl, I'm a Glossier guy, I wear Glossier, like I am part of this brand. Like that, the brand identity, like you took on the identity of that brand. It said something about someone to see them carrying a little Glossier pouch. It says, okay, you use Glossier, and that means, you know, you embody XYZ characteristics that are associated with Glossier. You know, we're selling a lifestyle here. It's not just about product, it's about buying into the image of the Glossier user. And when it comes to makeup, like, you know, I just put these products on my face, but if I go out my door, no one can see, no one knows that I'm wearing the Fenty foundation. You know, there's nothing on my face that says that I'm just wearing the product. But when we think of the pink bubble wrap pouches or other types of beauty merch, it's something someone else can see and they can register like, oh, you wear Fenty, you wear Glossier. Like it speaks to who you are. As dramatic as that sounds, when we're sold this lifestyle and then almost presenting it through wearing this merch. Okay, I'm like, Kelly, you have to look in the mirror, make sure this is all blended. I've done this so many times, and then I'm watching the footage back, editing it, and I'm like, girl, your lower jaw, there is a giant patch that you didn't blend out. So hopefully we're good to go. I get so into what I'm saying. For cheeks, I'm gonna use Salt New York. I'm gonna mix together the two bronzers that I have. This is the shade Light and this is the shade Taupe. So I'm gonna do a little bit of both. I do an affiliate code with Salt New York to get you 10% off, I believe. I can put it on the screen. And part of what allowed Glossier to do this so successfully, in my opinion, is having such a strong brand identity. From the packaging to the design on the website to any of the messaging to the design in their brick and mortar stores, they were so aligned on their brand image. And this messaging has never been more important than it is right now. The beauty industry is so competitive. To stand out, you need more than just a good product. Like, that's only gonna get you so far. So beyond that, these brands are crafting this imagery of what their company represents and what owning their products could do for you. You know, they're selling you this potential lifestyle that you can buy into through their products. And I don't think it's a coincidence that this is all happening at the same time that conversations around having a personal brand are increasing, and we're hearing about the importance of it. And now consumers are wanting to align their own personal brand with the companies they're shopping from. When I think about Glossier products, and specifically the Glossier products of like 2015, 2016, they were very, very minimal makeup products. And that was at a time where that makeup style very much contrasted what was trendy at the moment, which was full coverage, high glam. And so there was something rebellious and almost edgy about it just because of how far it deviated from other popular makeup brands at the moment. And people wanted to align themselves with that by not only wearing their products, but also wearing the merch. Like, you would see people out and about in a Glossier sweatshirt. And while I think Glossier is a brand that exists as a really powerful case study, the brand that I think emulates this perfectly in 2024 is Rhode. If anything, I look at this, I'm like, it's the Rhode effect. You could also say it's the Glossier effect, but Rhode is able to sell the general public a lifestyle before the products. And don't get me wrong, I think Rhode actually has wonderful products. I'm consistently using Rhode products in my skincare routine. They're very high quality. I like them. I also think they're relatively affordably priced for being a celebrity brand and being at the quality that they are. Like, they're competitively priced with other brands. So this is no shade to Rhode. I actually adore Rhode. But when I'm saying they're selling the fantasy or they're selling the lifestyle before the products, it's because of the way that they're aligned with Hailey Bieber. She is an it girl. People want to look like Hailey. They want to wear the clothes Hailey is wearing. Anything Hailey does goes viral. It trends. So naturally, they're able to basically bottle that up and sell it in their brand. I did this blush combo the other day and I loved it so much. Okay, so first we're starting with Saie Rosy. I'm just gonna put this on the back of my hand. It doesn't have to be the same blush. Anything that's like this nudie pink, peachy rosy color. I know I just had like 5 shades, but that. And then I'm mixing it in with a highlighter, a liquid highlight. This is more of a pink one. This is from Jones Road and it is the shade, it's their Shimmer Oil in Pink Opal. And then just working that into the brush. It is the prettiest shade. Okay, look, it's like, it has a little bit of glow, but it's also not like too bright. It's still very peachy and soft. I think it's gorgeous. But with Rhode, I want to talk about the phone case. You know all about the phone case. This was getting a lot of buzz a few months back when they launched a phone case that fit only their lip balm in it. You can't put other lip balms in it. You're gonna be walking around with Rhode. Also, in addition to that, it's got the Rhode logo on it. So not only will you see the Rhode lip balm, you'll see the Rhode name. And this was a phone. This is the device that is on you 24/7. For most people, it does not leave their side. It goes with them everywhere they go. You know, you go to dinner, someone's got their phone on the table, you take a photo, you're gonna see in the reflection the Rhode logo, the Rhode lip balm. Like, genius advertising on Rhode's part. They're getting people to pay to advertise them. People are buying their phone case to then advertise, essentially, for Rhode, because you're gonna see this everywhere you go. The phone is the one item that is on someone 24/7. Not only that, but it's including their most popular product, the peptide lip treatment. And like I referenced, you can't put another lip balm in there. I've seen people try to. You can maybe like wedge it in there, but it doesn't really fit. Like, you have to put the Rhode lip balm in there. And this phone case, you might be listening to this thinking, why would I do that? Why would I pay to buy a phone case with a brand's name on it to then walk around basically as a free advertisement for them? But you will be surprised. This thing sold out, everybody wanted to get their hands on the Rode phone case. And again, it's kind of selling that image of like, this is the Rode girl. She's wearing the same, or she's using the same phone case as Hailey Bieber. And when I look at a lot of the other brands that are selling merch, because it's not necessarily everyone, but it is getting more and more popular. But when I look at the other brands doing this, a lot of them have similar vibes and aesthetic, and honestly a similar audience to Glossier, Rode. And the brand that was specifically noted in this article was Saie. And they have been doing merch in a really interesting way. Not only have they done their own merch, but they also have like somewhat of collaborations. I'll explain. By the way, look at this. Look at this giant pan in my powder. This is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh. I'm actually so close to being done with this. Not only is the pan decently sized, like if you saw the height of this, like there is very little powder left. This is almost gone. So Lainey Cronwell, who is the CEO of Saie, says, talking about merch, she says, it makes an influencer moment for everyone. And the article was referencing the idea of an influencer unboxing. You know, you're watching someone on their stories, you're seeing them unbox the product, and not only are they unboxing product, but generally these PR packages come with some type of merch, whether that is like a little makeup pouch, a little purse, a little something. You know, there's a lot of merch there. And now offering those same products that were previously kind of just like included in these PR mailers, now they're available to the general public when they're shopping on the site. They can not only buy their favorite lipstick, but they can buy the matching purse. And Saie actually launched a purse with, well, purse, a tote, a bag, a something, with their most recent bronzer launch, which I do have. They did send me the bronzer, which I'm really liking. When they launched this, they launched it with this tote, which is far too large to fit into the frame, but it's like this little beach bag. And you can buy this on the website, and it was launched in combination with this, and it makes sense. It was actually a cute, well thought out piece of merch, because this feels very beachy, this launch feels very beachy, they go together. And a spokesperson from Merit, so not Saie, but a spokesperson from Merit said, at least with their brand, they spend as much time developing their merch as they do their products. They said they go through that many rounds, testing, going back to the drawing board, reworking it, like an equivalent amount of time between products and merch, which was shocking to me. And I don't know that that's consistent with every brand, but that was at least what was noted by a Merit spokesperson. But returning to Saie, not only do they have that new collaboration, that's not the word, but that new bag that is aligned with the bronzer launch, but they also did this interesting drop. They still have a few things available on the website, but they did, I don't even know how I would describe this, like a little capsule collection, I guess, maybe. So they have a bunch of pieces on their website that are clothing items with very notable clothing brands. They've done products with Carhartt, Levi's, Ralph Lauren, and they're basically just like clothing apparel items that these brands already sold, but then they stitched Saie into it, which is so interesting to me, and I cannot imagine who the target audience for this is. The pieces are beautiful. Like, these are well-loved brands, they're well-constructed pieces. I can understand why someone would want the piece, but can you imagine how much of a mega fan of Saie you would have to be to then go and buy the version where they stitched their name into it? It seems bizarre, but I think it speaks to how much these brands are selling a lifestyle. There's something very fascinating about the way that they're getting people to just walk around with Saie stitched into their clothing. And this is no shade, because I love Saie. You know, I'm wearing the blush right now. I wear this brand every day. This is no shade to any of these brands, but it's a very interesting phenomenon we're observing. And what's probably been the most interesting to me is that a lot of these merch drops have received more buzz than the makeup drops. Like, that's when you know you're doing something, well, I was gonna say right, but maybe wrong at the same time, where you're getting more attention for the merch. Even like the Rode phone case, that thing, the amount of articles I saw written about that, the amount of even just discourse on the internet about the Rode phone case, whether it was people were for it or against it, like the amount of dialogue that one merch product sparked was fascinating. And that is even in addition to the very consistent buzz that the brand is already getting for their beauty products. Another brand that has a ton of merch is Rare Beauty. And I've seen some of their merch before, but it was not until I started prepping for this video that I really sat down to just bop around all these brands' websites and see like just how much merch is out there. And when I'm telling you Rare Beauty has like the most, they've got pages of merch. And the one that was probably the most noteworthy was their recent dog toy merch. And this one was what convinced me that they are very much selling the lifestyle. Not only are you a Rare Beauty wearer, but it is so much a part of your identity that even your dog wears Rare Beauty. Like, they made mini versions of what are probably their customers' most used products, and they made them as dog toys. I said mini versions. Actually, they're jumbo versions because they're dog toys. But that speaks to the scale of this. Like, now we're getting makeup product dog toys. That is how much these brands are a part of our everyday lives, or at least how much they want to be. And with that launch in particular, it wasn't just random. That was to announce their certification from Leaping Bunny, which is a very admirable certification. They're now certified cruelty-free by that particular organization. So the dog collaboration toy thing was to celebrate that. But I also think that's such an interesting route we're watching brands go, because that got so much more publicity than if they would have just announced that certification in any other manner. If it would have been in an email or an Instagram post, I think people would have been excited about it. Again, it's a worthwhile certification, but I don't think it would have gotten the buzz that it did. But because it was tied in to the dog toys, there were so many more people talking about that fact. And now this is what we're seeing a bit more, like even going back to the Saie bronzer launch, combining the bronzer with the piece of merch adds just overall a higher level of buzz for the product. I have been going back to this so much lately. Do you remember last year when this, was it last year or even 2 years ago at this point? I think it was last year, when this palette was the only thing I used. I never stopped talking about Milani Whiskey Business. While I'm going through that phase again, I'm back to it. So I'm just gonna start off. I'm doing a very simple look today, but we'll start off with a little bit of that in the crease. I didn't even use eyeshadow primer, which is very unlike me. I just put some concealer on my lid, and then we'll do a little bit of this. But even in addition to these product launches that are just brand specific, we're also now seeing the rise of inter-brand collabs. That's what I will call them. So some of these collaborations even span outside of the beauty space. Some are within brands that are both in the beauty space. But one I want to highlight is Milk Makeup. So if you're not familiar, they did a collaboration with Reebok. Yes, the shoe brand. They had a Milk Makeup collection. Milk Makeup also did a collaboration about a year ago with a New York-based apparel brand called Awake. And what's interesting for me is when they did the collab with Awake, I received the products in PR, and one of them was a fanny pack, and the fanny pack says like Milk X Awake or something like that. And it's actually a cute fanny pack, and there have been so many times I've thought, oh, I kind of want to wear this, but what ironically has always deterred me is the fact that it says Milk Makeup on it. It feels, for me, I almost have an aversion to wearing it because of the branding there, when in reality, like, that's supposed to be the selling point for it. Like, they want you to buy it because it is the collaboration with Milk Makeup, but that's actually what is deterring me from wanting to wear it. Like, it just feels strange to wear a makeup brand like that, and I don't know, maybe it's because of what I do, and I don't necessarily feel a ton of brand loyalty in general. I have so many brands that I love. I wouldn't say there are specific ones only that I'm using, but even the conversation of brand loyalty, I think, is really intertwined with merch in general, because this is almost a way to create brand loyalty at a time when so many consumers are brand agnostic. This is a topic I brought up, I don't remember what video it was, somewhere recently though, we talked about this, and when I think back to my mom, my aunts, other women in my life back like decades ago, they were very brand loyal. They would buy, you know, it's like, oh, I'm a Clinique girl. I wear everything from Clinique. And if you needed a new makeup product, you would go to the Clinique counter and that was all you wore. Or you were a CoverGirl girl, or you were this, or you were that. But that doesn't exist today in the same way it did decades prior. Don't get me wrong, there are obviously still people in the world that feel brand loyalty, but the cosmetic space is so saturated that consumers are afforded endless options, and generally they're buying the product that is the highest quality and or the closest to what they're looking for, fitting their needs, what's viral. And I view this uptick in merch as a direct response to the death of brand loyalty, at least in cosmetics. Like, people might be brand loyal elsewhere, but in makeup, it does not look like that anymore. It's a way to try to build brand loyalty outside of products themselves. So instead of necessarily convincing you that like, okay, this is your favorite brand and you love all their products, no, it's like, this brand is more aligned with your lifestyle. You know, the bag that they're selling as merch with the new collab fits your personal style, or this phone case is something that you would want to wear, and therefore you feel this loyalty to the brand, but not necessarily because you love the products, though maybe you do, but more so because you love the image and the lifestyle that the brand represents. And part of what allows them to do this is convincing consumers that these drops are very elusive and exclusive. Again, going back to the example of the phone case, this darn phone case that I won't stop talking about, that one sold out instantly. So there was this like mania of like, we've got to get our hands on this. So few people can have it. And if anything, that really increases the value to the owner. Like, so few people have this, you know, if more people could get their hands on it, it becomes less special. Business of Fashion says selling or doling out merch through streetwear style limited drops rather than having it readily available at any moment can also help fuel demand. There's something about that manufactured scarcity that increases the interest. It feels more valuable to you to have something that was so hard to get your hands on. But now, okay, speaking of things I was like obsessed with last summer, this is the Ulta Beauty Weightless Water Stain. This is just a lip stain. I'm gonna apply this kind of like lip liner and then do just a little bit in the center. So I have this very soft like rosy tint. Now I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. lip oil in the shade Pink Quartz. At the end of the day, I interpret this uptick in makeup merch as an attempt to manufacture brand loyalty and to generate excitement and buzz, and also a way to align these brands with the lifestyle they're trying to sell to consumers. When is the last time you bought anything merch related? Do you have any interest in beauty merch? Or are you just happy owning the products themselves? Let us know down below. I'll have the rest of my makeup musings playlist linked if you want to watch any more, but thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next one. Bye.